issue to go against the master plan, so I think that's a problem. The only thing you've got going on in that area right now is Sam's Club, the post office, and the other thing in the summer is you get the dragsters at the mobile gas station, so making that into a manufacturing plant, you're gonna start losing people coming to this area. That's actually a good hub right there to take and really build up. I also want to say thank you for providing time for the discussion of the videotaping for the township meetings. I think that being completely transparent is how all government should be, as I know you're trying to be. When you first start recording the meetings, I questioned if the recordings would be uploaded, and the reply was no, that the recordings would be held for a year and then destroyed by the election clerk. On our FOIA request, it states, quote, "The township is not required to provide records in a digital format or on digital media if the township does not already have the technological capability to do so." We have a video recording with sound only, and that can be easily uploaded to a computer and then put on a thumb drive. According to the Open Meetings Act, and you know me and the Open Meetings Act, Act 15.269A, Section 9A, subsection 2 states that a recording required under subsection 1, which is the recording like what you do, recording must be maintained for a minimum of 1 year from the date of the meeting in a format that can be reproduced upon a request under the Freedom of Information Act, and also references 1976 PA 442 MCL 15.231 to 15.246. So in essence, moving forward, if you videotape the township meetings and upload them, you'll take care of that issue. So that's a big thing. Also, by videotaping the meetings, you're missing out on a great opportunity. At the last meeting, we had people talking about the sign out front, so it shows you that people really do pay attention to that sign. You have a lot of people who are invalids, elderly, that can't come to the meetings. A lot of people just work or can't come. But when there's an issue, you see where the meeting room gets full. Well, when you see stuff on video, it gets them engaged. Another example is, I brought up having a township cleanup day. If that were on a video and it was uploaded, people go, yeah, that'd be great. They might come forward and volunteer. So that's another way for you guys to get the citizens engaged. And finally, Bob, the DDA. I'd like to know what I can do to get on that board. The gentleman that ran the last meeting was very incapacitated, as you know, with how he was running the meeting. You also have a seat that's open. So I'd like to know what I need to do to look at getting appointed to that board. It really needs revitalization. That's their mission. And with a $500,000 budget, they need a little push, and I think I can help with that. So I just need to know what I do to try and get appointed to that board.
Yeah. If you want to make an appointment with me, sit down and talk
Okay.
about these issues that
Yep.
you have, then we can do that.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else?
Eileen Tesh, Channelside, Algonac. I was here a couple weeks ago at the last meeting when Dan Casey with the EDA had talked about the developer, Interstate Capital, was looking at some property here. Just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of what transpired in Marysville with the same developer. He was proposing this development, 300,000 square foot buildings, warehouses, and the planning commission voted to approve it, but when it went before the board, they voted it down 7-1. Why? Because of the mystery buildings. The Interstate Capital would not disclose what was going to go in those buildings, and whether it was something manufacturing, marijuana, they didn't know. They just had a whole list of possibilities. Their job was to construct the buildings so that when the lesser or individual company was ready to occupy, it would be ready they would move in ready. Well, the Marysville, with a full room and standing room only, voted it down because too close to the schools and the neighborhoods. So just wanted everyone to be aware that Interstate Capital and EDA is, they lack transparency, to say the least.
Anyone else?
Michelle Brown, Ravenswood Road. Port Huron Township. I just appreciate that you're having a discussion this evening about the video recordings, and I hope there is a good, thorough discussion about that, because it is important. There's people that are homebound that want to know, be involved here with the happenings, and I just hope that you take some good consideration on going that direction. This is the era that we're in, the century, digitalization. It's probably a good thing to move forward in that direction. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, thanks for your comments, everybody. Moving on, new agenda items, attorney's report.
Good evening, in front of you, my report for activity in the month of April. I don't know if there's anything that requires any explanation, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Anyone have any questions for Bob?
I will say that the long-standing dispute with the farm people is, I think, coming to a final conclusion.
Let's hope. Engineering report.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. No formal items to present today, but I'll give an update on some current projects. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Bakersfield Park, they're making progress. They've completed the boardwalk that goes across the wetland area. It's looking pretty nice. Contractors requested staking for the balance of the asphalt work, so we'll be out later this week to stake that out. Howard Street and 24th Street sidewalk projects, we had a pre-construction meeting last week, so the contractor's looking to get going on that in the next few weeks, hopefully. Maywood Pump Station finally got some progress with the EPA. They indicated that the State Historic Preservation Office, which they were waiting on for quite a while, they cleared the project, so that's progress. Now the EPA is working on their environmental clearance. At this point in the year, it's looking like we'll get the project permitted, ready to bid out late fall or winter, and it'll be construction next year. That's kind of how it's tracking. So, and then the only other item on from a development standpoint, we've been reviewing plans for the proposed Dollar General at Michigan and Lapeer. That's getting close to having a pre-construction meeting, so should be any next week or so. We should be having that. So, anybody have any questions that I can answer?
Anyone have any questions for Mike? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item C, the sheriff's report. The sheriff couldn't make it, or the deputy couldn't make it today. You have a new format for the report. It's broken down into even further in different categories. So, anyone have anything that there stands out? Looks like everyone's staying pretty.
I did.
Yes.
Child abuse. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. And it looks like nothing for January, February, March, well, 1 for March and 6 for April.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just seems to me to be quite a jump. And it's too bad the deputy's not here to explain, what is going on, to go from 1 to 6 and then, nothing the previous few months, right? So I guess with all the stuff going on with child trafficking, it just jumped out at me when I saw that. So it's too bad he's not here tonight to answer any, questions or, give an explanation, why that number is up so significantly.
Right. And he may not have an explanation, but. Okay.
I see different, because the old format, you could see the previous year for the month.
Mm-hmm.
Like it might help answer, like if we had that, you could see what last April was a year ago, and see if there's.
Yeah, if you go back and look and cover with the last month's and probably figure it out.
The change in format, he spread it out farther, going to this child abuse. There might have been that much abuse going on before, but because it's all lumped into, many of these were all lumped together in different programs. It's just, now it's separated out and we see it individually.
Okay, anyone have any other discussion about the sheriff's report? Chief's report.
Good evening. You can see the breakdown in incidents. No notable incidents within Fort Huron Township for April, which is a good thing. So the only thing I have for you is we're currently adopting the 2021 International Fire Code and the 2021 NFPA Fire Code. So we were on the 2015 code, which is 10 years old. The state of Michigan mandated that the building code be updated to 2021, and fire codes kind of go hand in hand with building codes. So effective tomorrow is when we're going to start that. No real notable differences to existing buildings, minus carbon monoxide detection and notification in like hotels or senior facilities. But the 2021 code does have stuff that wasn't around in 2015, like data mining centers and marijuana processing facilities, lithium battery storage, stuff like that.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Chief?
Does the new code specify the lithium battery requirements, storage requirements?
Yes.
What those are?
I'm
I'm just curious.
So we did update our books, and this is the changes from the 18 code, because they didn't make a book from the 15 to the 21, because it's such a big jump. But instead of taking time, I'll just get back with you after that.
Absolutely, yes.
Do that. But yeah, it does specify that.
You know, talk about fire detection. I know the actual residential, the blue book and the fire book, there is a difference in specification and how they're doing the monitoring
Mm-hmm.
on fire alarms and that, and how they're doing it, because now they got these alarms that they're battery free for 10 years, and they've changed a little bit in the residential. I'm not 100% sure. Keep on them. I haven't got my copy of the 2021 yet,
Mm-hmm.
but they have. I know it's part of the test you have to take every 3 years for your license.
Yeah, and with the smoke detectors and notification, major change in that is like higher risk buildings where people sleep in, say Dorchester, where there's a lot of elderly people, they're having a lower frequency fire alarm because studies have shown that people with hearing impairments, or if they're say, have an alcohol problem, they're more likely to wake up to that lower frequency than the higher pitched tone we're used to.
Right. Exactly, as you get older, you don't hear the higher pitches.
Yeah.
Plus, you don't have to have as many alarms now. Say you don't have to have them as many places.
As far as residential goes, yeah.
Right.
Anyone else have any questions for the Chief? Great, thank you. Item E, approved work orders with St. Clair County Road Commission for the hot rubbering of various roads. You have multiple work orders.
Can we do them all at once? Or
Yes.
I'll make a motion that they be approved.
A motion by Reno. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Dudash. Is there any discussion?
It's kind of interesting to see the cost. It just seems very, I know they have a formula on how they work it out, right? So, so like, for example, when we look at, let me see, Amberwood subdivision, so $7,500 to hot rubber the whole roads in that subdivision, and then what is the road commission, and they kick in a portion of the money too? It seems very,
No, this is for the
seems
whole
very,
thing.
yeah.
I can write in there 50%, and then they would, as long as we have match money, they will cover 50%.
Okay,
If we're out of our match money, then we pay them over.
okay.
But, you send a crew up there to blow out the cracks and then come back and then fill all the cracks with hot rubber. That's
Yeah.
for the time they have to put into it.
And the equipment and everything, getting it all there, yeah, very reasonable.
Just trying to hold the roads together for a little while longer. Last winter was very rough on the roads with the frost.
Water Street and Huron and all that.
Rain, yeah. no.
That's a horrible road.
Yeah.
Any other questions, concerns? Roll call by the clerk, please.
Reno,
Yes.
Dudash,
Yes.
Pringle,
Yes.
Falk,
Yes.
Shonka,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes. Item F, approve resolution 2025-15-05 to establish rules of public comment for the Port Huron Township boards and commissions. Anyone like to make a motion to approve?
1 second, please, Mom. It's on this one, right? Let's see here. Yeah. Just trying to find it again. 3. Says that.
Got page 13.
Okay, okay. Okay, here we go. Right, here we go.
I'll make that motion.
So it's for 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. Only thing I didn't like about it, and it's just me, because we've been to a lot of these meetings over the years, like with the solar and that, and, one of the townships, they had told us that they wanted us to, have a spokesperson to speak for like 4 people, 4 or 5 people.
Can't do that.
So, that was the one part that I didn't like. I think I've seen it in the open meetings actually too, that they have that in there, if I remember correctly.
It doesn't say you have to, it says you're encouraged to.
Okay.
Is there, I got a motion and support, or is there some support?
I'll support that.
Support by Pringle. Okay, now we're discussing it.
Okay, oh, sorry, I jumped
It says they're encouraged to, it doesn't say they have to.
Okay.
Just like when all the pickleballers came, I think that time, when they read, because they were all here for that one meeting.
Okay.
Any other comments? See none, roll call by the clerk, please.
Shonka,
Yes.
Pringle,
Yeah.
Dudash,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Falk,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes. Item G, approve lot split of parcel 74-28-019-3014-020.
Just to point out, Mr. Chairman, the agenda that's out there does not include that on it. It's on the one I got mailed, but the one I picked up there doesn't have the items are out of order.
Okay.
G is the lot split, and G is improved higher. I don't know, like, if you printed out yours.
I printed it.
I just picked one off the table.
Oh.
Where are you at?
I picked it off the table up there. G is higher because.
Oh, summer red.
Okay, G on the one that I got in my email is the lot split, which is.
That's the
Okay.
latest one.
See, I got G as the lot split.
And so do I, but the one I picked up from the table doesn't have the lot split on it.
Okay. So item G should be approved lot split of parcel number 74-28-019-3014-020.
I'll make a motion.
I'll support that.
Motion of support, is there any discussion?
This came before the planning commission, and it's a lot down on Michigan Road, like across from the sheriff's department. And what it is, that
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Falk,
Yes.
D-Dash,
Yes.
Shaka,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes.
Did you lock the door?
Okay, everybody got the updated version? I came with the bills this afternoon.
Yeah, that went from 12 to 13.
And sometimes not all these kids would be working at, some go on vacations with their family, some have band camp, so sometimes they're not all there. So, I need a motion to approve hiring the selected summer rec program applicants as presented.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Reno, is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Falk. Is there any discussion regarding the summer rec?
Do you wanna set the director's pay? She gave a range. Last year she gave 2250, and she requested between 23 and 25.
Is the director just a summertime hire?
Yeah, it's a 7-week program. She does some stuff after hours as well, sometimes some recreation board meetings. I would just recommend at least $1 from what she made last year.
2350. Making a motion, Donnie?
Oh, I thought we already had a motion.
We do have a
No, she,
motion.
are you making a motion?
I can
You
make
made a
motion.
recommendation.
I can make a
Oh.
motion for the director's pay to be 2350.
We can amend that motion, I guess, like, there's already a motion out there, but,
So you want to amend your motion and reflect that?
yeah, I can do that, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
I'm getting all confused.
You have to-
And does Dawn second that?
You- All right. Roll call by the clerk, please.
Reno,
Yes.
Falk,
Yes.
D-Dash,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Shaka,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes. Okay. Board member discussion on video recording the township board meetings. I just would like to know what the board's thoughts of doing it. I don't want to put the work into finding out exactly what's required of us and then trying to see what it would cost us and whatnot. If the board's not interested, what's the board's thoughts?
I would like to see it. I would. At first I wasn't too sure about it, but I would like to see it. You know,
Okay.
I go back, when I do the board of commissioners, for example, you know, when we get talking about things and wondering, wanna clarify something, it's nice to be able to go back and, you know, go back and to re-listen to them. And, I think what Michelle said too about the people who are at home, who can't come to the meetings, it'd be nice, you know, if they could watch this and know what's going on in their community, you know, feel part of our community, right? So, I'd like for us to do it.
And this isn't a decision to do it or not, it's a decision
Yes.
to investigate it.
I would just comment that I think it's a good thing. However, a lot of good intentions turn out to be a major burden for somebody. So the question would be is who's gonna be responsible for making sure it happens?
That's all I have to do.
I don't have an Instagram, I'm not a social media person
Me
at
neither.
all. It just is one more thing that I have to maintain that I don't wanna deal with. So that's just my opinion.
You know, talking around to some concerns, which, if we got the original, is that people can take it with AI and change things in it, but if we got the original.
SimCog just did a seminar on it, because they gotta change how they're doing, they videotape theirs for the members. But it's gotta be closed caption now. If, when we always have the 3-minute public, and when somebody comes in deaf, or they want it,
Sign language?
what?
Sign language?
Sign language person has to be available if they're notified within 48 hours, and that person has to be in the view. If that machine there is, let's say Mike has something he wants us to watch, we have to make sure that gets captured. Because, you know, in SimCog, they got 5 screens going all the time. And there's a lot of things that SimCog is really having to change for the videotaping. And cost is where they're looking at too. Because it's, as I've mentioned to you, it's skyrocketing up there quickly, because then you gotta maintain it, you gotta have the history. And they have to, let's say you're viewing it today, but 2 weeks from now they wanna view it, or 2 months from now,
Yeah, we have to know what the retention period is on it.
all that, yep.
It's gonna take a little bit of storage,
It all falls under some new ADA stuff.
a lot of information to find out, to
And
make
how
sure
many-
that we're doing it.
How many cameras you have viewing, because you gotta view us and then turn around and view the audience, their reactions to what's happening, and split screens and all that.
You know, the Board of Commissioners just has one camera.
Well, this just came out in the last couple months, so everybody is kinda doing that. I know I went around earlier in the spring and viewed 6 different locations, and they're all over the place in what they're gonna do. Some are just thinking about, it's not required, so just take it out.
So when you say you went to 6 different locations, do you mean you went to 6 different townships, or?
Yep.
Okay, okay.
6, well, no, City of Dearborn, Plymouth, downtown Mount Clemens, and they all have multiple cameras. And they're not talking like your video phone camera, they're talking, and they're intense in keeping up the records. They have a full department just to work on that.
That's my gut feeling on it as well. I can see a minimum of 4 cameras,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody has to have a microphone,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta have a podium
Yeah.
with a camera slated to that. And then you're gonna need AV guys to run it.
Yep.
And edit it and store it, and that's a lot of money right there.
I reached out to Paul Campo, he does the Board of Commissioners, and I'm gonna try to get him to come to a meeting, or if you would like to talk to him, I can arrange, you know, for you to talk to him. Because like I said, Board of Commissioners, all I know is just what I see. I mean, I don't know what goes on in the video room, but he's all by himself. And it's just one person videotaping. And I don't know if the townships, I know some townships, I think Algonac, doesn't Algonac, don't they tape their meetings?
No, the fire chief does. Joe knows.
I thought I heard Algonac taped, and I heard they did a nice job with it.
Yeah, it's Chief Joe Doe.
Okay, okay.
John, you have some?
Everybody's pretty much voiced my concerns, but I agree with Pat. I don't like, the costs are gonna be pretty substantial for what the, I know that the open meeting deck, anybody can take the meeting, it's not a problem. We have the option of making a designated area for them.
Right.
I don't know that, personally, I don't think we need to do it, but that's not my decision alone, so. I would be very interested in see what the cost would be. I think we're gonna find them pretty significant. And again, like, like at the last meeting, people were saying, what are we doing to, reduce costs? Here we're talking about admin, but I don't know that people can come to the meetings. So I don't think it's necessary to keep them, but that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, that's, for me too, it's gonna come down to cost and what a majority of the residents may want and what.
Is there any guidance out there that?
That's what we're gonna have to look for. This isn't gonna happen overnight, but, we'll get to it.
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but I will tell you that there's plenty of resources within the MTA, the Michigan Municipal League. Yeah, I'm sure we can figure that out. I don't know if you want to pay a lawyer to investigate that, but if you want help with it, let me know.
All right, so we'll look into that. Approval of bills.
Motion, we approve the prepaid bills, the amount of $17,314.27.
Motion by Shonka, is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Reno, is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call by the clerk.
Shonka,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Pringle,
Yes.
Dudash,
Yes.
Falk,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes.
Make a motion, we approve the current bills in the amount of $551,416.08.
Motion by Shonka, is there support?
I'll support.
I'll second it. Well, doesn't have to.
Support by Reno.
Yep.
Is there any discussion regarding the current bills? Seeing none, roll call by the clerk.
Shonka,
Yes.
Reno,
Yes.
Dudash,
Yes.
Pringle,
Yes.
Falk,
Yes.
Davis, yes, Lewandowski.
Yes. Board correspondence. Anyone have anything?
The museum,
It's getting there.
it's looking beautiful. The deck is really nice.
We're hoping to have the back door on before the 7th.
Will they get the front door painted white soon? Please?
Galen, hang out, seriously.
Sold.
See what we can do.
It looks really nice, that deck is beautiful, you did a nice job. Do we know any more about the pavilion? Did Mr. Yoder get back to you about the pavilion?
Yeah, I think we're gonna see where we're at with Community Foundation, and then once we get that figured out, I think the easiest way to work with Mr. Yoder is just to drive up there and go over it with him and what we want, and get the price, and it won't be done before,
Yeah.
but the steam engine will be outside. I'll make sure I get it outside.
And there's gonna be other, there's gonna be food trucks there at the open house, 2 food trucks, right? What's the latest?
I'm not handling that.
Yeah, so, and, there's gonna be a DJ there, and it's gonna be a lot of fun, a genealogy table and a craft table for the kids. And then the fire department's gonna have their beautiful new truck out with that big beautiful flag, and then there's gonna have the fishing clinic's gonna be going on. It's gonna be a lot of fun that day for the
I think
community.
the County Farm Museum's gonna try to be there with some tractors and a wagon to take people for a ride. They're gonna have a speaker there too, aren't they?
That's right, Andrew Kircher,
Yes.
the historian, yeah. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
When's it gonna be?
June 7th, on Saturday.
Where?
Here. Yeah,
Right
right out
Right
back,
behind
right
us.
out back.
Is that what the museum?
Yes, the one room.
Yeah.
One room schoolhouse there.
We have the fishing clinic on the 7th as well, as was mentioned, 11 to 2.
Let's promote each other's events.
Absolutely. We'll be telling people to come over here, and hopefully you tell people to come over there.
Representative Pav.
Hello.
Sorry I'm late, I was up in Birchville. I'm
Oh,
trying to get
I
to
see
St.
what
Clair
you're saying.
tonight. You all have meetings on the same night.
You got anything you wanna tell us?
I do, if you don't mind. Again, sorry I'm late. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Joe Pavlo. Represent you in the 64th District. And please get in touch with my office. I would like to get your email so that I can get you on my newsletter list. And if you don't know what it is, I have a card here. I'll be happy to give you one. And if you call the office, you'll get to talk to my staffer, Jediah Baker, and he's absolutely phenomenal. So please call if you have any questions. When I ran for office, I knew that I didn't know everything about my district, so I have 15 advisory boards, and I have one for townships, as you know, Bill Dieter. So you talk with Bill a lot, and Bill talks with me, but you also have contact with me. So I would be happy to answer any questions that you call about, or and I would also like to invite you over to Lansing, to my office. Anytime you're in Lansing, please stop in. I would love to see you. And can I just tell about the 3 bills that I passed already?
Sure.
I'm very happy to have done that. Since I've only been in office for about 4 months, I've tried to talk to as many people as I can. And of course, I was elected by conservative people. And one of the things that I heard time after time was we need merit-based hiring, particularly in government. We don't need DEI. So that was one of my first goals, was to write a DEI bill. And when I first ran for office, I wondered if God was going to be with me and support me in this, because I had a lot of reasons not to go into this role. And so anyway, he melted all of those away, and so that's what I decided to run, and of course I won. And I wondered if he was going to support me in legislation. Well, I'm talking to a lot of representatives. I learned that sometimes it takes 2 and 3 years, or at least a year, in order to be able to get a bill passed, particularly one that's as controversial as DEI. So I wrote the bill, and I turned it over to legal, and they go over the fine print and everything and make sure that it's right. Well, anyway, they didn't give it back to me. It was given by mistake to a Democrat, and she did not read the bill. And she had 35 other Democrats co-sign on the bill. And we're wondering, what's happening here? Why don't these people do their homework? Why don't they do their work? So anyway, it came right down to the point of the day of the vote, and we were wondering what they were going to do. They could line up one after the other and have their name taken off of the bill on the House floor, which would be very embarrassing for them, and they'd have egg on their face. And the other thing, they could vote for the bill. So I had 2 talks ready, one to chastise them if they had said that they were going to take their name off, and another one just to support the bill. Well, they ended up supporting the bill. It passed 105 to 1. So they can't say that I'm not reaching across the aisle in order to be able to get bipartisan support. So that was my first bill, and I was just elated. The second bill had to do with sanctuary townships. There's one for sanctuary counties, I'm sorry. There's a package of bills, sanctuary cities, townships, and counties. And mine was counties. We don't want to hinder the police as far as getting their job done. I see we have some officers here. God bless you for your service and what you do. And as far as ICE, we need to be able to deal with the illegal immigrants and not have issues there. So that one passed, and I'm happy to say we have 58 people, the majority in the House, but 66 people voted for that bill, so I'm getting some bipartisan there. And the next bill, the last one was just last week, it was on school safety, and that is to have the state police and the Attorney General's office prepare training for everybody that's in a school. That's custodians and bus drivers and volunteers and teachers and administrators, everybody, so that we don't have happen what we had happen in Oxford again, because we want that to be history and never happen again. So this training will be a yearly training or a 3-year cycle training also. So those are the 3 bills that I've passed so far. And if I could just take one more minute. What I'm finding in Lansing is that the people in Lansing don't know this part of the state. I knew they wouldn't know me going over there, but I'm kind of chagrined that they don't know how beautiful this area is over here. And so, because I'm requesting a lot of money, number one for the Tainer gate on the canal, and also for the Marysville water plant, which is slowly slipping into the river, and other projects, I decided that I needed to make this part of the state known. So on July 10th, I'm inviting all of the House of Representatives, all the senators, everybody in the governor's office over here, and we're taking them out on the Huron Lady, and we are going to have some drinks and snacks, and then at the what's the hotel right there?
Convention Center.
Say it again?
Convention Center?
Yeah, no, not convention center.
City Flats.
City Flats, yeah, I keep forgetting that for some reason. We're gonna serve them a meal there. I've got this all paid for. And we did a video that should be coming out today, and the invitation. And the video was with the Lake Pilots Association and the Huron Lady and the Yacht Club, and there's footage of the boats up and down the river. And we're gonna show that to everybody in Lansing, starting tomorrow. And we're gonna get them over here. And then those will be, and we're also sending that to Lisa McLean's office in Washington, so that they'll be able to see that too, because we're asking for funding from both of those locations. So that's something that I'm very excited about, and I'm amazed at the number of representatives I've talked to who have never heard of the Port Huron to Mackinac boat race. I mean, I thought everybody in the whole state would know that, but they don't over there. But they're gonna after they see this video and after they come over here, because we're taking 100 of them out on the Huron Lady. So that's all I have to say, and but get in touch with me, because I want to make sure that you're on my newsletter email list. All right? And I don't think I can make St. Clair 50 minutes, but I'll have to hit them another time. But thank you very much.
Thanks for stopping, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, anyone else have anything?
Pass those down.
I do have some information on that interstate capital. They are looking at, there's the 200 acres down east of 32nd, north of Dove.
Got my card, don't you?
Kind of a hodgepodge in there. And they've been doing a site survey for wetlands and that kind of stuff. And they feel there's 40 acres they could use at the corner of Petite and 32nd Street. And they're talking putting in a distribution warehouse possibly. Very limited.
I give you that by mistake. Oh, I'm sorry.
We could welcome that.
Yeah.
You're in heavy industrial, so they don't have the same issue they had in Marysville, as long as they follow our ordinances and whatnot. Welcome here.
My understanding of them is they build spec buildings.
I've heard that too. And the spec buildings aren't out of the norm. The city of Port Huron built many of them. It's heavy industrial. Anything that fits what's allowed in heavy industrial, you go in a spec building. Well, Marysville was a different animal. It wasn't zoned heavy industrial for one thing. And there was multiple homes nearby. So, that's all I got. So, look for motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Motion by Dudash, is there support?